Moshi Moshi, this is Christy from Fun Coast. We are going to make Derby Day hats. The Kentucky Derby's coming up, and a fun tradition around here is to go on the Derby Day cruise, which is from the Good Time. And they take you over to Kelly's Island, and you get to spend the whole day over at Kelly's Island on all the different local bars over there, and watch the Kentucky Derby and, just have a good time at the bar. But one of the big things is still hats. Now, when you go to the Kentucky Derby, according to Martha Stewart, down in actually Kentucky, and I'm sure in other places in the South, they get all dolled up. It's like the who's who at most places, and they wear some pretty phenomenal clothes. Now, Derby Day in not Sandusky, but Northern Ohio is a little different. We like to go out to the bars and just kind of dress a little wacky, have a good time. It's an excuse to go out, hang out with your friends, take a boat over to the islands. Who would go? It's good times. Good times all around for everyone. All around. So, what do I have here? Okay. I have some sparkly, crazy things that I haven't made a Derby Day hat before, but from going to Derby Day in the area and checking out pictures on funcoast.com, the ladies there and the men have some pretty crazy hats. I've seen bottles attached to hats, waving things around. They do all kinds of stuff. They'll have flowers, some traditional ones. Other ladies had these fountain hats on. But if you go to funcoast.com and you check out previous galleries of Derby Day cruise over to Kelly's, you'll see pictures. And there'll be more pictures coming up, so definitely come back to funcoast.com and watch. Sorry, had to plug it. Okay, so back to the hats. So we have our hot glue gun on. It's been heating up. We've got some nice scissors in case we need to cut anything. We have wire trimmers in case, anything on the flowers need to be cut. We usually have wires in them, like we did. We just plucked them off. This. And then we're going to save that for later craft, maybe. Again, petals, spinny stuff, hats, brown ribbon. Alright, let's get started. So first off, we're going to make the pink hat. The pink hat, since, it's a little, kind of reminds me of a baby doll hat. But we're going to make it our crazy hat. We're going to use this hat with all our sparklies. Our sparklies here. And then actually I'm going to take these and glue them all over the place just to give the hat a crazy texture. Like I said, around here, Derby Day hats can be fun. They can be all crazy with different things all over the top of them. They can be a classic hat with just a ribbon on it or, ball cap. And, as long as you wear a hat, it's a Derby Day. At least around here it is. So, alright, first off, let's take and make our pink hat. And we're going to just start taking these flowers and putting a small bead of glue on however, wherever you want to actually have it stick. You can do more than one petal at a time. I'm just going to do a bunch of petals all over the place and give it, like I said, a crazy texture. You don't need a lot, and as you can see, I probably just used a little too much on that last one. There's a stringy hanging off the end of it. But, you also need to use enough to make sure it holds up because, it is springtime in Ohio, and the wind is whipping around those trees out there, and you're going to be on the lake, especially if you go on the Good Times Derby Day cruise over to Kelly's Island. There's a lot of wind. It does have 2 levels, but I usually hang out outside or on the upper deck. But, the lower deck's fun too. But you want to make sure you put enough glue on to make sure it attaches itself and can hold on to it and it doesn't lose it. And, I'm just kind of going around randomly picking flowers. The petals, I'm not really paying attention. Some of them have green on them and there's different sizes that you can use. And I'm just really kind of going as random as I can, grabbing out of the pack that I threw on the table. And just, so you can see, plucking them around. So I'm going to twirl these pieces around my fingers and pull them out a little bit. And then I'm just going to attach these, trying to stick them up maybe. You know, then maybe that'll work. Running out of glue. So I'm gonna just attach a few of those because this is kind of pokey stuff, so I don't get too much pokey stuff on there. The other stuff is all really soft, and this is a lot heavier than some of the other stuff too. So I don't want to get too much of it on there, but we're gonna add just a few more pieces to give it a little crazy shimmer sparkle. You know, at Funkos we're trying a bunch of new stuff and trying to get the word out about some stuff. So if you guys have an event or anything that you want us to post, let us know, because we'll put it up on our free events calendar, and that way more people can see it. You know, there's other free events calendars out there too, but definitely hit your local ones so that people in your local area can find out, and then, you know, the Spotted team or Funkos team will come out and you know, take some pictures and stuff. I can't guarantee all events, but, you know, we like to show up places and get people having a good time and doing stuff in the community. That can be anything in the community too, you know. It doesn't always just have to be a crazy wild party. Earth Day is a good example. We we didn't spend money, but we took a bunch of time and made sure that we covered those kinds of events because we thought it was important to our area, and you know that you guys were interested and wanted to know that. So I'm holding this, and you know, you just kind of got to hold it on there to get this attached, because I'm putting this on the top part of the hat, so it's a little harder to do. To get it to hold there. Okay, so here is our crazy Derby Day hat. Da, 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 da. It is definitely crazy, and what I'm doing right now is I'm going around that thin sparkly stuff kind of got wrapped up in some of the glue. So you just kind of go around and pull really lightly on it because you don't want to disconnect your stuff. So you just kind of go around lightly and you pull this stuff off, and then you straighten it out so it dangles. And I'm going to say that this is the front of the hat because I made it. And my pigtails are kind of getting in the way of my hat. There is your one Derby Day hat. Derby Day hat! Yeah! So, here's our crazy Derby Day hat. It's pretty funny. Pretty crazy. And you know, it stays on well. It's not too heavy. It shakes a little bit, but again, my pigtails are kind of in the way. But this is our Derby Day hat.